Good evening, hello and welcome to NDTV. You're watching the news at 8. I'm Sarah Jacob. Let's get you up to date with the day's top stories. Here are today's headlines. Ashok Gehlot apologizes to the central team, denies staging a revolt. The High Command unconvinced by Gehlot's denial. So then who will be the Gandhis' preferred candidate in the Congress presidential polls? Is Gehlot out of the race now? Snubbed? The Congress High Command mulls its options. With the 2024 election ahead, JP Nadda may get an extension in the BJP top post. The extension likely to last till the end of the Lok Sabha elections due by April-May 2024. The rupee hits an all-time low as major currencies crack against the dollar. The rupee slips well past the 81.50 paise per dollar. Markets plunge over 1.6% at a near two-month low. The Sensex down 448 points, ends at 57,145. The Bank of England preparing an emergency intervention after the pound slumps to an all-time low of 1.09 to the dollar. The mother of the 19-year-old receptionist whose murder sparked massive protests in Uttarakhand has claimed that her daughter was hastily cremated and that she never got to see her daughter's body. She has accused the administration of tricking her into going to a hospital on the pretext of taking her to her daughter. The Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has denied allegations by two activists that he, Sadhguru Vasudev, and the tourism minister broke wildlife protection laws by entering the Kaziranga National Park, the home of the Indian one-horned rhino, much beyond their scheduled visit time for a night safari. Italy all set to elect the far-right conservative leader Giorgia Meloni as the next prime minister of the country, Italy's first female leader too. Her party, Fratelli d'Italia, or Brothers of Italy, draws inspiration from Mussolini. Meloni also admired him in her youth, only to distance herself from his idea of fascism later. Over 2,000 people detained across Russia for protesting against President Putin's decision to mobilize a part of his military reserves after Russian forces are believed to have suffered staggering losses in the war against Ukraine. A huge exodus among Russians who are queuing up in kilometer-long lines at Russia's borders with Georgia, Finland, Kazakhstan to avoid mobilization. And marking a big shift in its manufacturing strategy, Apple says it will assemble its flagship iPhone 14 in India as the US technology giant looks to shift some production away from China. The top story. A rebellion by more than 90 loyalist MLAs may cost the Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot his shot at the Congress chief's post. Though Ashok Gehlot has apologized for the situation, the Gandhis are reportedly upset with him for humiliating the Congress, and the High Command is mulling its options. So is Gehlot out of the race now? Has he gone from being the preferred candidate to being full-blown rebel? Mr. Gehlot is to file his nomination papers for the October 17th Congress presidential poll elections tomorrow. And as the Rajasthan crisis peaked, now another potential candidate, Kamal Nath, arrived in Delhi in his meeting with Sonia Gandhi. He is said to be mediating in the Rajasthan crisis, NDTV has learned. But could there be more to that meeting?
The day after the Rajasthan revolt, the cold vibes apparent. Barely 2 minutes after Ashok Gehlot walked into this Jaipur hotel to meet Central Party observers Ajay Makkan and Mallikarjun Kharge. Ajay Makkan walked out without meeting Mr. Gehlot, saying, why should he? The Chief Minister has also claimed he had no control over events last night, where the Congress MLAs skipped the CLP meeting and instead met at the house of Gehlot loyalists, where 90 MLAs protested the move by the High Command to make Mr. Gehlot's rival Sachin Pilot the chief minister. They even refuse to meet the party's central observers. But Ajay Makan made it clear that the High Command isn't buying Mr. Gehlot's denials, given that observers had come purely at Mr. Gehlot's convenience.
कांग्रेस विधायक दल की मीटिंग मुख्यमंत्री जी से पूछ करके उनकी अनुमति से, उनकी सहमति से और उनकी कन्वीनियंस से रखा गया। मुख्यमंत्री निवास के ऊपर ही उन्होंने कहा शाम को 7 बजे रखना है, तो उनकी कन्वीनियंस से ही ये मीटिंग रखी गई, जो सबसे पहले आप सब लोगों को हम बताना चाहते हैं।
MLAs loyal to Sachin Pilot and Mr. Gehlot clashed over Mr. Gehlot's role in engineering the rebel gathering.
अगर उनकी प्रेजेंट में, उनके रहते हुए राजस्थान में ऐसा कोई भी होता है तो आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि उनकी सह के बिना ये काम हो ही नहीं सकता।
अशोक गहलोत जी ने एक विधायक से ये नहीं कहा। गहलोत जी के साथ में तन्नोट माता जी के मंदिर में सुबह निकला था, और गहलोत जी के साथ में हवाई जहाज में बैठा रहा, हेलीकॉप्टर में बैठा रहा, मंदिर में रहा, खाना साथ में खाया, वहां फोन पकड़ नहीं रहे।
The High Command has so far not indicated they will act against Mr. Gehlot. Instead, they may single out some of the key ringleaders of the revolt, like the Congress chief whip, who was personally calling the MLAs to the rebel meeting. Exactly what happens next is still unclear. But after the late night power play, it does appear that the High Command is probably rethinking their tactic to back Mr. Gehlot in his run for Congress President. With Uma Shankar Singh in Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
All right, let's go across to Srinivasan Jain and Harsha Kumari Singh, both of whom are monitoring all of these fast-moving developments in this story. Quite a script it's turning out to be. Vasu, Ashok Gehlot apologizing, claiming he was not involved. But how does all of this affect those much-awaited Congress presidential polls? Has Gehlot fallen out of favor? And if so, can he stay on as CM?
Well, certainly I think that this crisis that has engulfed the Congress, another crisis that has engulfed the Congress, has spread now far beyond Rajasthan. Because remember, Mr. Gehlot was expected in Delhi in the next 24 to 48 hours to file his nomination for the post of Congress President, for which he was tacitly been backed by the Congress High Command, by the Gandhi family. But now, after the show of strength last night, clearly the central observers are furious. The Congress High Command, the Gandhi Parivar, Sonia Gandhi particularly, is supposed to be most upset. They are not appearing to buy Mr. Gehlot's argument that he really had nothing to do with it. All of this now raising a question within the Congress about whether he should be the quote-unquote official candidate that is backed by them. Does he inspire that trust factor? This is now something which has become a serious question within the Congress. The challenge for the Congress is who can they come up with in this short period of time? Because remember, there's just now 3 to 4 days left before nominations close at the end of the week. So to find another candidate who could be seen as a quote-unquote loyalist, who would also have the clout to take on, Shashi Tharoor and perhaps someone else who might want to contest, is going to pose quite a challenge. We saw Kamal Nath there this evening earlier meeting Sonia Gandhi. Indications are that this conversation could largely have just been about Rajasthan and his attempts, Kamal Nath's attempts to try and mediate that crisis, because that's an ongoing crisis as well. But whether Kamal Nath now emerges as the plan B in the event that Mr. Gehlot is sort of encouraged to drop out of the race is something we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, the Congress now battling two crises. One in Rajasthan, where they still have to figure out how to effect a leadership change without threatening their government there, and also the crisis that has now surrounded their choice for the presidential candidate elections.
And Harsha, Mr. Gehlot claims not to be involved in any way. You've been following Rajasthan politics for decades now, but could such a rebellion have happened without his consent?
Well, I'm here right now, Sarah, at Shanti Dhariwal's house, and Shanti Dhariwal's house was the place where the rebels actually met. And in fact, now they seem to be on the aggressive side. Mr. Dhariwal has made a frontal attack on Ajay Makan and said that actually Ajay Makan came here, he was canvassing for Sachin Pilot, and there was a conspiracy to remove Ashok Gehlot. We also asked him that, all the MLAs came here and they got together. This could not have happened without the Chief Minister knowing. And Mr. Shanti Dhariwal has gone on record to say that, he did not call the MLAs here. They came on their own because they don't want someone who tried to topple the government to become the next Chief Minister. Minister. Where was Mr. Ashok Gehlot on that day? Well, very interestingly, Sarah, he went to the India-Pakistan border to visit a temple. It's the Tanot Mata temple that he went to visit on the India-Pakistan border, where ironically telephone signals don't reach. So actually he was out of range in that sense. But of course, it's whether it was a mere coincidence or it was planned. It's interesting that when this rebellion was happening, Mr. Gehlot was on the India-Pak border at a temple where mobile phones apparently cannot reach.
Fascinating, Harsha. Thanks for that. Meanwhile, let's go across to the BJP, where JP Nadda, who took charge of the BJP from Amit Shah in 2020, is expected to get an extension, NDTV has learnt, with less than 2 years to go for the next general election and a string of state elections before that. Let's go across to Akhilesh, who's bringing us this breaking news story. So, Akhilesh, if this is true, and how long is that extension likely to last?
Well, till the next Lok Sabha election, which is due in April-May 2024, and Mr. Nadda is likely to continue till then, because remember, you don't change the captain in middle of the game. And that's why Mr. Nadda, who has been very active since he assumed charge of the BJP president, he has been traveling across the country. He has been gearing up for the party for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, and in between there are elections in 10 or more states. So party is of course gearing up for all those elections, and the BJP does not want to take any chances. The organizational elections are not yet begun in the party. Remember, as for the party's constitution, at least 50% states should have completed the organizational elections to begin the process of election of the party president, and that has not begun. So this is one of the main reasons why Mr. Nadda is likely to get an extension. And apart from that, he is a close confidant of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mr. Modi approves his performance. He believes that in the past 2 years, when during the COVID pandemic, Mr. Nadda was able to convert the BJP organization into a Seva Sangathan, and he distributed more than 50 crore food packets, and that's why he has won heart of Mr. Modi also. And third point, of course, is that he suits in the BJP's social engineering formula, because now you have a tribal women president, you have a Jat OBC vice president, you have OBC prime minister, and of course you have a Brahmin president as the BJP president. So that's why BJP feels that Mr. Nadda should be given an extension. It's just a matter of time before an official announcement is made.
All right, Akhilesh, thank you for that. Let's get you the other news from around the country now. Let's go across to Uttarakhand, where the mother of the 19-year-old receptionist, whose murder sparked off massive protests in Uttarakhand, has claimed that her daughter was hastily cremated and that she never got to see her body. She's accused the administration of tricking her into going to a hospital on the pretext of taking her to her daughter. News reports had earlier said that the mother was admitted to a hospital as she was unwell. However, a video then surfaced where she was seen saying that she was fine and was ferried to the hospital on false pretexts.
More allegations of a cover-up against the Uttarakhand government and police in the Ankita Bhandari case. The 19-year-old receptionist was murdered, allegedly by a now expelled BJP leader's son and 2 others, after she resisted their attempts to push her into prostitution at his resort. In this viral video, Ankita's mother says her daughter was hastily cremated on Sunday evening and that she was not allowed to see her body. The mother also claimed she was instead forcibly brought to a hospital by the administration.
वहाँ जंगल से लाया गया कि अब मेरे घर जंगल में है कि चलो बेटे को देखने के लिए ना मैं पूछ भी रही थी कहाँ ले जा रहे तुम ना अरे जबरदस्ती ये ग्लूकोज चढ़ाया मेरे पे और उसके बाद वीडियो बनाओ निकाला वीडियो क्या बनाना वीडियो एक तो हमने भेज भी दी क्योंकि अब हमें तो तब पता चला जब पता है घाट पे ले गए थे मेरे को बोले कि आए 4-5 लोग आए ना कि चलो घाट पे चलो मैंने कहा मैंने जाना ही नहीं घाट पे.
Ankita was cremated on Sunday evening amid massive protests against the police for alleged slow action and questions over the way this resort of the accused, a crucial spot for evidence, was demolished. The police claim they are probing who gave the demolition order, but the chief minister today appeared to back the action.
SIT पूरी तरह से एक DIG स्तर के अधिकारी की नेतृत्व में बनाई गई है, वह भी उस पर काम कर रही है. हर पहलू का हर जांच से जुड़ा हुआ इस साक्ष्य हों वो सारे के सारे साक्ष्य वहाँ पर पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित हैं। किसी प्रकार का भी कोई भी साक्ष्य मिटाने का प्रयास नहीं होगा। माननीय उच्च न्यायालय से भी अनुरोध करेंगे कि जल्दी से जल्दी इसमें फास्ट ट्रैक के लिए एक अलग से कोई अदालत गठित की जाए या अदालत में ऐसी व्यवस्था की जाए।
At Ankita's village, a 2-kilometer trek from the nearest road in Uttarakhand's Pauri Garhwal district, her distraught father recounted how the 19-year-old had left for a job just a month ago, hoping to contribute to the family income. Ankita's family alleges the local officials and accused tried to hush up the case.
आज जनता में समझ जनता से अनुरोध करता हूं कि आप इसी ढंग से जब तक इनको हस्टे के तहत इनको फांसी की सजा नहीं दी तब तक मेरे साथ कंधे पे कंधे मिलाकर मेरा साथ दी।
With camera person Prem Singh and correspondent Alok Pandey and Mukesh Sengar, Amakshi Dungri for NDTV.
And the big business story of the day, the rupee has witnessed a sharp 64 paise decline against the US dollar on Monday to hit another fresh low as unabated strengthening of the greenback wreaked havoc on financial markets across the globe. And Priyanshi now joins us for more on this. Priyanshi, what a day it's been, huh? A roller coaster on the markets?
Absolutely, Sarah. Today was a day of all falling down. The rupee fell to a new low. Markets also plunged. And it's not just the Indian rupee, but also global currencies are weakening. And we're also seeing the oil prices that are going down. Let's take you through whatever has happened. Rupee has hit a new low. Markets have tanked and oil prices plunged to levels last seen in January. Rupee hit a record low for the third straight session. It weakened by 63 paise and ended at 81.62 per dollar. Overall this year, rupee is down by 10% from 74 per dollar in January to 81 per dollar now. Now, why is this really happening? There are recession fears across the globe, and in times of a global stress, investors are parking their money in safe dollar-based investments. That is why other currencies are falling against the dollar, that is at a two-decade high. Now, it's not just the rupee. Even currencies of developed countries are falling. Pound fell to an all-time low of £1 equaling $1.03. There are also fears that demand for oil will go down in a recession. That is why Brent crude oil prices are also falling, and they're down to an 8-month low of $84 per barrel. Now, one important question for us is that will domestic fuel prices come down with international oil, since most of our fuel is imported? The answer, unfortunately, is that it's not very likely. Our fuel prices go up with international crude prices, but they don't come down likewise. One reason is that even though crude oil prices have fallen 2% in 8 months, the prices we have to pay in rupees has actually increased by 7% in the same period. This is because rupee has weakened against the dollar, so we now need more rupees to get a dollar's worth of goods. Now, markets also plunged by 1.6% and went down to a near 2-month low and fell for the fourth straight session. Sensex was down 448 points. It ended at 57,145, while Nifty was down 311 points and it ended at 17,016 points. And the recession fears, Sarah, don't seem to come down anytime soon, meaning that the negative trend is only set to continue for both the markets and the rupee.
Thanks so much, Priyanshi. Certainly worrying numbers there. Thanks so much. All right, let's get you a special report now, from sweeping the floor to making rotis and even cleaning utensils. Shocking details have come to light about the plight of children at government schools in Madhya Pradesh, with low quality teaching and a lack of infrastructure leading to serious learning gaps. The dropout rate at secondary schools in the state has been as high as 23% this year.
Class 6 to 8 students cooking rotis and sweeping the floors of their dormitories at this government residential school in Madhya Pradesh, Anuppur district. 600 kilometers away in Guna, this viral video shows girl students of a primary school in the Chakdevpur village cleaning toilets and washing the floor by fetching water from a hand pump on the school premises. These visuals contradict Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan's recent claim of a world-class infrastructure at Madhya Pradesh government schools.
विकास के शिक्षा अधिकारी को भेज के इसकी जांच करा लेते हैं। जांच के बाद सच्चाई सामने आ जाएगी।
हम इस मामले की गंभीरता से जांच कर रहे हैं। अगर इस जांच में सत्यता पाई जाती है तो शिक्षकों के विरुद्ध कड़ी अनुशासनात्मक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
This government school building in the Khargone district has been unfit for use with its dilapidated roof for 5 years now, and students have to study under a tree in front of the school. The school administration says multiple reminders to concerned officials for repairs has been of no use. According to a survey by the School Education Department, 1/3 of Madhya Pradesh 1 lakh primary and middle schools do not have electricity connections. Classrooms in 1/5 of these 1 lakh schools are damaged, while toilets in 11,409 schools are in poor condition. 21,077 schools have only one teacher. Madhya Pradesh had a 23.8% school dropout rate in 2021. Claims are being made to implement world-class standards in government schools of Madhya Pradesh, but the reality is quite the opposite. It's hard to believe, but more than 10,000 girls have quit studies owing to poor security and lack of toilets across the state. In Bhopal, with camera person Rizwan Khan and Anurag Bhari for NDTV.
And Apple announced today that it is excited to manufacture its flagship iPhone 14 in India. This as the US technology giant looks to shift some production away from China. Apple's main iPhone assembler, Foxconn, is manufacturing the devices at its Sri Perumbudur factory on the outskirts of Chennai. But no, it does not mean the prices will get cheaper just because they're being assembled in our backyard.
If you are considering purchasing an iPhone 14 soon, you might just spot a Made in India sticker on the packaging. Apple has today announced that it will start manufacturing both the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus in India at its Chennai plant. The manufacturing facility, set up in collaboration with Foxconn, has been manufacturing iPhones since 2017. However, this is the first time that the latest model will be produced in India immediately after launch. Previously, manufacturing for current generation products would start 6 to 8 months after sales started. Apple issued a statement saying that they are very excited to be manufacturing iPhone 14 in India. Historically, Apple has not reduced prices for Made in India products, even though the company stands to benefit from the Digital India and Make in India incentives offered by the government. That said, increased production should help create more job opportunities in the manufacturing sector. Expediting manufacturing of the latest iPhones in India further implies that Apple is banking on India to serve as a major manufacturing center for local and global consumption. Additionally, it could also signal further investments in the technology and production capabilities of local facilities to be able to produce the latest smartphones by Apple. Rubina Mongia, NDTV.
And finally, the iconic 10-day Mysuru Dasara festivities have kicked off with the Mysuru Palace in Karnataka decked up in full glory. And in a first, President Draupadi Murmu, in her first state visit as president, inaugurated the Mysuru Dasara festival.
Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swaha Namostute.